Hey, what's up YouTube? Just wanted to make a video, an update video on my Yard Machines MTD. Don't know if y'all watched the other video I've made on this mower. There's the hood back there. If you get on my channel, there's another video on here on my channel that says MTD mower, thumbs up or thumbs down, question mark. And the funny thing is that all of the trash talking I've done on MTD machines and MTD mowers, it hasn't been with the tractor itself, the issues that I've been dealing with. It's all been with the engine. And then again, it's not really a manufacturer's issue. Again, or I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's not Briggs & Stratton's fault that the engine's been having so many issues. What it is the previous owner really didn't do much maintenance or take care of it. And one of the things was that I've been chasing down with it is, and I talked about it in the last video, is oil leaks. And finally got it to stop leaking oil. And then when I made the last video, I just got done running it in the yard, and I was really just wanting to make a video of it and try to get it posted, but I was still chasing bugs when I made that video. And the bugs I'm talking about is that it was burning oil. And now when I say burning oil, it wasn't burning oil in the traditional sense. And what I'm saying is like when I was driving it, it wasn't just a constant smoke cloud coming out from the exhaust. Matter of fact, what it was doing was it was just puffing. Sometimes it would be a big puff, sometimes it'd be a small puff, but it would just puff. And so that kind of had me scratching my head trying to figure out what it was. And so I started looking around on YouTube and jumped on YouTube and started typing it out and looking, you know, and looked up a video by Taryl, T-A-R-Y-L. You type that in the search bar. He does a lot of mower repair videos, and he was talking about he had a machine come in. Also what I saw was, like I said, it was puff and smoke, but it was also, there was smoke coming out of the oil fill. When I would open up the oil dipstick and I'd pull the dipstick out to check the oil, there was smoke coming out of there. And Taryl was talking about in the video that is a real good sign. There were some other signs, but that right there, smoke coming out of the oil fill, was a good sign that you have a blowed head gasket. And so sure enough, I pulled the head off, and yep, the head gasket had blown. And I guess it's a pretty big deal on these Intech Briggs & Strattons. What I'm saying is it's a common issue with these engines. And so that's kind of another reason why I'm making this video, because I don't know if there's enough of videos and information out there on this issue with these engines. But so I'm making this video to try to bring some awareness. I know also when I went to remove this head, the bolts were loose. And so one of the things that I always, when I'm servicing or tuning up a lawnmower, is I always check the torque on those head bolts and make sure that they're not loose. You'd be amazed at how you know they'll vibrate loose when you're using the machine. And so it's a good idea when you bring this in, when either you bring it in or whenever you're doing it yourself, to go around. And mine's 3/8, takes a 3/8 socket, to just go around and check all the bolts and make sure they're tight. But anyway, so I wanted to bring some awareness to you guys and show you exactly what the issue is, what's going on, why or where the head gasket is having the most issues, and hopefully this will shed light on somebody else's problems and help you out. See, what it was when I got this machine, in the other video I talked about I could only get it to start when I adjusted the valves with no lash all the way in, and you can't do that. And so it was, and also what it was doing when I finally got it to start was it was shooting oil out of it. And so I tore the engine apart and come to find out one of the cam lobes was no longer oval, but it wore itself down to where it's almost round. And it screwed up the tappet that rides on that lobe, and then also bent the, because I don't know if you guys worked on these or not, but it also bent one push rod is steel and one push rod is aluminum, and it bent the you-know-what out of that aluminum push rod. And so so I went in and I changed out the cam, and I changed out the tappet, and also the push rods, and I went with a trick that I went with on Terrell's video, that I saw on Terrell's video on the push rods, and I'm going to share that in this video also. And but again, like I said, guys, I'm not taking credit for this. I saw this on YouTube, and I'm just making another video to try to bring up the awareness and try to show y'all a real issue with these Briggs & Stratton Intex, and then also to show y'all a trick to the trade on these. And so what I'm going to do, guys, is I've got another head here. What it is in the last video I talked about how I swapped the motor out on this, and I put a 13 horse on here. This is the head from the 13 horse Briggs & Stratton, but their heads look the same. And so this is going to work for demonstration purposes, so I can show y'all the issues with the head gasket. And so let me set this down real quick and show y'all what I'm talking about. Set it down right there. Alright, guys, so what it is so right here, let me get the camera down here, right there is the intake, the intake, and where the carb is bolted on. You can see the carb right there. And then over here is the exhaust, the muffler. And anyway, so on this side where the intake is, this is where the push rods. You got a push rod up here and a push rod down here below. And so what it is the push rods actually go through this slot right here, one above and one below. This actually bolts on just like that. And you actually have a head gasket. Hold on a second. You actually have a head gasket, something similar to this. This is for this particular 13 horse. This gasket is. It's not for this motor here, the 20 horse that I'm talking about, but it'll work for demonstration purposes. So anyway, so you have this gasket that goes in between the head and the engine block. And where these are failing, where the head gasket is failing on these motors, is this part right here. Let me get that. Let me put that right there. Get the camera situated. It's failing right here in this area here. What happens is like I said, the push rods are in here, and this is where the piston is. Actually, this is where the spark plug comes in, and the piston comes down with all the gas and creates a bunch of compression right here, and then that spark plug sparks, and boom, creates that explosion. And then right here is the push rods. Well, the engine is sending oil through here to oil these push rods as they're going back and forth in there. Well, the problem is with that is when it's sending that oil in here to go oil these, and with this blowed head gasket with the blowed right there, that oil will actually travel from in here over to the cylinder and here into the piston, and what it'll, it'll burn the oil. And so And so that's how the oil is burning. I know in a traditional sense, when you hear the word, it's burning oil or it's smoking, you think, well, it just blew the rings in there. And most generally, that is a good sign of it. But in this situation here, what it was, like I said, it wasn't a constant smoking, which would be a definite sign that I would have to replace the rings in this. It was just puffing. And so when I pulled the head off, sure enough, it was right here in this area here that this head gasket was blowed. And so I got it replaced. And then, like I said, the other trick that I learned when I watched Terrell's video is like I said, these engines come with one aluminum push rod. This is what I've got in my hand right here. And one steel push rod. Now I don't know which one is which, I don't remember now, but in that video Terrell made, he was talking about how you can just put 2 steel push rods, because also what happens with this aluminum push rod is right here where it comes through. Let me flip this over. Right here, right there where this comes through there, because it goes right through that hole right there. Sometimes that aluminum will wear out, and what will happen is this aluminum will hit that metal right there, and what will happen is it'll wear down on that push rod and it'll break it. And so what I did was because I had to replace like I said, it had a bent push rod, and I had to replace it, and I had to go get a set, and so I got a whole nother set of steel and aluminum one. So now this engine no longer has an aluminum push rod. I used the steel push rod that was originally in here, plus I used the steel rod from the other set that I got to fix this. And so now this engine has 2 steel push rods in it, so I don't have to worry about this, like I said, rubbing against there and failing or breaking or whatever. And also don't have to worry about it bending like it did before. And so anyway, guys, just wanted to share this quick video with you. I know I've been trying to make more videos where I start up my equipment in them. I can't start it up right now. The reason why is because it needs an oil change. And so I may try to make another video where I start it up after I get the oil changed in it. But I did want to make this quick video, just like I said, to bring awareness and show you guys, where these Briggs & Stratton head gaskets are wearing out, and right in that area there. And then also another trick is if you can get 2 steel push rods in there. So anyway, so I hope this helps somebody out there, and definitely helped me out. I did start it up. I know I said I'm not going to start it up because it needs oil change. I did start it up long enough to see if it was smoking, because it would smoke right as soon as I started it. And it's no longer smoking, so it fixed the issue. I just got to get an oil change done on it, and I'm fixing to do an oil change on it. But just want to make this quick video, like I said, raise awareness and show y'all what is happening with Briggs & Stratton Intech overhead valve engines. So God bless, y'all take care, and hope you enjoyed this video.